Okay, hello again. We're going to critique your process speeches. I'm going to start with Cardinal. And Cardinal, you have the wrong shot, and you're shooting up. Now, this is the last time. I'm telling you now, folks, if you don't pay attention to what I say, you are going to fail the speech. I don't know how many more ways I can say, this is the shot. This is the only shot. I want you to talk straight to the camera. I want the camera to shoot straight in, an inch or two above the head, bust line. That's the shot. All right? Don't zoom, don't move, don't tilt up and down, don't pan left and right, any of that stuff. All right. You need to start by defining what I think you called it Genshi is. Still don't know what it is you're talking about. Need to slow down when you're listing the ingredients because, for one, I can't understand a lot of what you're saying. The words you're using are words I just don't understand. You talked about the Jews of a pear. All right, I'll give you, you may have meant juice, but you didn't say how much. When you're giving a recipe or you're telling people what to do, you've got to give them the complete instructions on what they're supposed to be doing, or otherwise it's not going to make any sense to them whatsoever. What else? You have too much detail to follow clearly. You're telling us way too much. You have a general audience. General audience is not as interested in your topic as you are. So number one, you have to keep it interesting. And number two, you've got to make sure that you're not overboarding them. All right, you have several phrases I simply cannot understand. Watch your uhs for your vocalized pauses. And whatever you intended for me to get in outlines, I couldn't even open what you sent. All right, next up is Miro, M-I-R-O. And let's start with, you have a bibliography listed in your outlines, but you have no sources in your speech. You know, if you're going to have a bibliography, you better mention in your speech that same information. You have a nice appearance. Don't rock back and forth. And you have given a bibliography, and I've even noted here, what about sources for your facts? The audience does not see your bibliography. You have to give the sources in the speech. All right, don't get lost in your own speech. Keep the flow moving at all times. At times, we lose the ability to understand some of the words you are using. Demonstrate in a circular motion. Don't just chop your hand. And I'm not sure what that refers to. Perhaps you know. And also, you talk about you need to drink 8 glasses of salt water. Boy, that's a lot. So you need to really help out the audience on those things. Next up is Gamecock. Your preparation outline was not an outline. It was a word-for-word narration. You have an excellent appearance. You have a good story well told. You're a little soft focus at the very beginning of your speech. For all of you, establish your credibility. Who are you? Why are you giving this speech? What makes you an expert, if not an expert, at least knowledgeable about that topic? You've got to establish credibility. If you look at your critique forms, it says, number 3 down under introduction, establish credibility on topic. All right. Now, you have some audio, let me do this right, audible conversations in the background distracting from what you're saying. You have good gestures when you use them. This was an excellent presentation. Be careful not to pitch your voice too high. You're kind of up here when you're talking. Make it a little more natural to what I believe is your natural range. Remember, you're talking to adults. Don't make it sound otherwise. Don't talk down to me, and don't become preachy, but you're talking to adults. Great smile, and you need to watch the length on your speech. You're a tad short in there. All right, next up is Heaven. And Heaven, your outlines were not properly formatted, and you have a very nice appearance. Now, this is something that is just not tolerated in this class. You edited your intros. Turn the camera off between one person and another person. And that is absolutely forbidden. Once you start introducing your audience, until you finish, you cannot turn your camera off. All right? What is turn eye off or down? Turn eye off or down. You mentioned that several times. The camera is moving. That's a no-no, like it's trying to zoom. Bright light over your head. You have totally the wrong composition. You have edits in your actual speech. You need to watch that you drop ing endings. Going, coming, doing, being. All right? It's going, coming, doing, being. I'm not gonna. I'm going to. All right. So, but watch the going, coming, doing, being. All right. Don't mumble while filling time between parts of your speech. You at times almost want to break into a little humming music there. That's not keep the speech moving. You have an amazing natural talent, but you must follow the rules of these speeches. I counted several edits in the speech. You need to be careful of that. You also sent your outlines in 2 different emails. Folks, I can't help you if you don't read what I tell you are the procedures for the class, and then I say it in these critiques, and you don't pay any attention to it there either. So I can't help you if you don't do that. Next up is Ralph. Your outlines are not labeled properly, and one is, and let's see, I think both of them. Yeah, both of your outlines, well, no, your one outline is a narrative. All right, I don't have to, I don't make me guess which you meant to be what, but neither of them is a word for word, so that may help you there. You absolutely have ignored my instructions on the audience intros. The same with the composition of the picture. The camera was hit, and now the picture is downhill to the right, so while you were talking, someone hit the camera or tripped on the camera or something, and now the angle, instead of being like this, is like this, okay? You're shooting up. I can't see your eyes. Very bright light over your left shoulder. Stand still. Talk to me, not at me. Too many details to follow. Good for people who are experts in your topic, but not very good for a general audience. This is a general audience speech, and always remember that. If you're talking to experts, there are a lot of things you would do differently, but that's not what you're doing. Next up is pacers. You have the wrong shot. You're shooting up. I need to be able to see your notes, at least so I know that you're using your speaking notes when you're speaking. I can't understand your opening. There are too many phrases I can't understand. When you have that, repeat some of the words and phrases that you have a difficult time pronouncing. That'll help your audience understand it a little bit better. It's hard to see your eyes. It looks like you're reading. You're not looking at the camera. You're looking a little bit off the camera. That's why I think you may be reading something over there instead of looking at the camera and talk to me. All right. I know you were talking about exercise, but I don't understand much of what you said or the points you were trying to make. There were too many points I just can't understand. You gave a web address. There's a web address on top of your speech video. You need to lose that because it's distracting while you're talking. Next up is Prez. Nice voice. I don't consider the audience intro to be funny, and I won't allow you to make it that way, so clean that little act up real fast. And they need to use their names, their real names, and their ages. That you need to dress for the speech, check your appearance. You need to start looking at the camera. Start by looking at the camera. Don't be looking over there or down on your notes. And also, you're treating this kind of as a joke when you start talking about using a knife or a fork for what it is you're talking about, and that you need a bowl. You know what? That's not even funny, because now you're impugning the credibility of your audience's knowledge. You and your audience need to take this seriously. We'll leave it at that. Clean up your act. Next up is bears. Stand still. Tighten your shot. You're shooting up. Shoot to the waist. All right, so make sure you're shooting to your waist, This is the shot. God, I don't know how many times I have to say that. Work on flow from point to point. Explain the reason for how what you suggest fits in the job search that you're talking about. Don't just tell me, you need to wear purple shoelaces. Tell me why I need to wear purple shoelaces. And that's not what you said, but that will give you an idea. You're speaking to a college audience about job interviews, and you're offering what I would consider to be elementary tips. If a college audience doesn't know some of the stuff you're talking about, then they don't deserve to have a college degree. All right, you're a decent speaker, but don't oversimplify what it is you're talking about. Don't dumb it down for somebody. Talk to your audience and treat them as otherwise intelligent college people. All right, next up is Dragon. And Dragon, you're not following directions on the audience intros. You have absolutely the wrong shot. I can't see your eyes. The camera and mic are too far away. You're swallowing something like that, where you're starting strong and then all of a sudden you can't hear what you did. All right, understand that? Don't swallow your words. Start strong, finish strong, and everything in the middle has got to be strong. You're holding up something. I can't see it. Watch the sniffles. When you got sniffles and you do like that when you're talking, that's going to be very distracting. You said something, and I didn't understand this, and I'll tell you what I heard. It's made out of cotton and mink. Really? All right. Don't move the camera while you're speaking. Watch the tisk. Again, for you, is everyone in your audience going to be interested in what you're talking about? Especially if you were on campus and talking to all college-age students, or you have people in your audience that are beyond the topic that you're talking about. Always be considerate of your audience. Okay? That's it. Those are the speeches. You're making mistakes on your outlines. It's pretty easy. There are examples there. Follow the examples. If you follow the examples on the outlines and do what you're supposed to do, there's no question you'll do better. Audience. Everyone walks past the camera, looks at the camera. My name is Keith Klein. I'm over 16, or my name is Keith Klein. I'm 104 years old. Leave. Next person comes in, says their name and their age. The camera is already set up for you, the speaker. They walk in front of the camera. They never are shown sitting down. They are never shown in a room somewhere else. And the camera, once it starts on the audience introductions, is never turned off. Find out about what I've said to you about labeling your outlines. They have to have your name, and they have to say what outline they are, preparation or speaking. And also, they must be sent as part of the same email message. Attachments to the same email message. Now you're going to start seeing in your speeches you need visuals and you'll need sources. Please read the directions on that. All right? What else? Let me say real quick, the discussion boards. Some of you are not doing real well on the discussion boards, and in a large part because you're not paying any attention at all to the directions. We've got some people in the class that do part 1 and not part 2. We have some people that do a general response in part 2 of, yeah, I like that. That's not a response. You're supposed to help them, make suggestions, things like that. And so the scores are really down low. And they're down low because, point blank, you're not following directions. All right? If you have any questions, call me in my office during regular business hours, and we'll talk. Okay, that's it. We'll talk to you next time.